Welcome to the Kaleidoscope of Possibilities, Alternative Perspectives on Mental Health. My name is Dr. Adriana Popescu. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and leader in the field of mental health, energy psychology, addiction, trauma, and empowerment. In this podcast, we will be exploring mental health from a variety of perspectives, from the spiritual to the shamanic and beyond. What if mental illness isn't everything we think it is? What if everything we see as a pathology is actually a possibility? What else is possible with mental health? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Adriana Popescu. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, addiction and trauma specialist, and an empowerment coach. And I'm welcoming you to my new podcast called Kaleidoscope of Possibilities, Alternative Perspectives on Mental Health. So what if mental health isn't everything we've been told? What if there's more to it than just a brain chemistry imbalance? And what else could be contributing to a mental health problem? These are some of the topics and themes I'd like to explore in this podcast series because I myself consider myself a holistically inclined psychologist. I've been working in this field for over 25 years, and I've studied a lot of traditional and non-traditional approaches to health and well-being. My journey started as, I was lucky enough to know that I wanted to do this work early on. But what I didn't expect when I was in college and aiming for grad school was the trajectory my own life was going to take into illness, depression, despair. I was sick for almost 20 years with what turned out to be Lyme disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, and a whole host of other health problems that really took a toll on my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health. It was through getting sick and going through what some might call a dark night of the soul that really put me on this path to discovering alternative therapies and treatments, because Western medicine just didn't have much for me. They couldn't even diagnose me correctly until I was about 13 years into this. So on my journey, I started exploring chiropractic, acupuncture. I did a year of massage therapy school. I started learning about my body. I started learning about energy. I worked with all kinds of different practitioners. I explored herbs and homeopathy, and I discovered that there wasn't just a physical cause. It wasn't just about a tick that had bitten me that was infected with this bacteria, but there were emotional components. There were reasons why I had become so sick. And a lot of it was that I was highly empathic and I was taking on the pain and suffering of other people, not just my loved ones, but clients that I was starting to work with, because at this point, I was going to grad school. And then I saw a flyer in the student lounge one day for an energy psychology conference, and I got in my car and went to San Diego. I'm here in San Francisco, California, and I went to San Diego and I went to this energy psychology conference, and my universe was blown open, and I learned this variety of amazing tools that I started using on myself and started using with my clients, and wrote my dissertation on one of them, and started getting amazing results way beyond what traditional talk therapy had ever been able to offer me, and way more than what the traditional medical approaches had been able to offer me. And so in my own journey toward health and wellness, and I'm happy to say that today I am symptom-free and happier and healthier than I've ever been, on that journey, I ended up discovering a tremendous amount of information that I really am wanting to share with you, the listener and the viewer, through this podcast. And so what I want to do is I will be bringing in experts on all different areas, people who work with hormones and work with our biochemistry, who take a more naturopathic approach, because some of the conditions we've diagnosed as depression or anxiety might have an underlying imbalance of a different kind. It might be that your hormones or neurotransmitters aren't functioning correctly, and that we can use alternative approaches to address that besides just the pharmaceutical approach. I'm not anti-meds. I definitely think they have their place, but I think they're a bit too much of a band-aid for symptomology, and they never really get at the root of what's going on with someone's illness. So we're also going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at the spiritual elements of different conditions. See, because when you're dealing with something like depression, anxiety, psychosis, trauma, whatever it is, it has aspects that are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And what connects all of that, to me, it's all energy, right? As an energy psychologist, I see everything as energy and that everything is interconnected. So you can't really treat the body without also treating the mind. And if you want to change something that isn't working, a place where someone is stuck, you've got to shift the energies. And we can do that through a variety of modalities that are incredibly powerful. I know from my experience personally as well as professionally with my clients. So I want to share those with you. So we'll be bringing on different experts in the field of energy psychology, consciousness, healing, addiction and recovery, and empowerment, so that we can look at what's beyond what we have decided we know about mental illness. Okay? We'll also be bringing on people who have had these diagnoses. They're sharing their stories, their loved ones, people who have used these alternative approaches and have recovered from all kinds of different conditions. Okay? Each conversation really is about entertaining and empowering listeners to embrace their own awareness, gifts, and capacities, and to create a greater world with them. So this podcast is really intended for everyone. It's for people who have suffered with these different labels and conditions. It's for their loved ones. It's for other treatment professionals and healing arts professionals who want to find out more about approaches they can use to assist their clients. And really, it's about creating more consciousness, more possibility, and more hope for conditions that traditionally have been thought of as unchangeable, untreatable, and once you have it, you're going to have it for the rest of your life. I know that's not true, and if you're tuning into this podcast, maybe you know it's not true too. So join me as we explore this adventure, this kaleidoscope of possibilities. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Kaleidoscope of Possibilities, Alternative Perspectives on Mental Health. This has been Dr. Adriana Popescu. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe and share with others. To find out more about me, my guests, and more, please visit my website at adrianapopescu.org. See you next time.